On May 1st of 1975, radio and television were combined here at American Motors' Kenosha plant to form Broadcast Communications. This for a more effective employee communications network, which is unique for any industry. Television is being used more for employees' communications throughout this country of ours, but none is as extensive as ours here in Kenosha. Many have a great deal more invested in equipment and manpower, and many have very sophisticated studios and distribution systems, resulting in better quality programs. But even at that, we in Kenosha still produce more hours of programming for our employees than anyone, and no other non-broadcast or industrial firm utilizes both radio and television. Even though we have had radio and television for almost 4 years now, a great deal has happened with in-plant television since this past May. Every Friday, American Motors Television features a company news program to review some of the local and corporate highlights from the past week. Young fella's father is Bill Whiskey, and he works here at American Motors. This is John Whiskey. He's 10 years old. He's a fifth grader, and here's his little submission. It says, "Our transitional car will travel oh so far. You'll have to confess that our Pacer will cost you less. The Pacer is the car because it's ahead by far. People never ever fuss, 'cause it's roomy enough for all of us. Our Pacer is ahead, you see, because of its ability." In addition to the news segment, and at other times during the week, interviews are conducted on a multitude of subjects, but on subjects we feel are of interest to our employees and citizens of our area. January's a good month to shop, right?
I believe it is, yes.
I always buy my clothes that month. Tell us more about Christmas. I know there's got to be stuff like, you say, returning. How do people be prepared? I mean, you know, how do we prepare for returns? Have to have sales slips or whatever?
Yes, that's it. To be prepared for returns, you have to take steps when you buy the product. Make sure you're buying something that's really what you want, but if you think there's a possibility you might have to return it, ask the store what their return policy is. A store is offering you a courtesy if they allow you to exchange things. The store only has to give you your money back or a credit slip or make an exchange if there's something wrong with it. They don't have to exchange it if it just doesn't fit. Since September, we have been running a series on quality control every Thursday to show all employees not only what quality control does, but we stress the importance their job plays in the overall quality picture of American Motors.
Either to Detroit Engineering for corrections or to the supplier for corrections. It saves time, and it's also recorded for our files.
So in other words, we take this camera and this microscope, we put it together, and we got a problem. In other words, we don't fix our own problems, right, on this?
No, we do not fix our own problems. We're dealing with suppliers. So everybody builds a part for us, and whenever we have a failure, if it is not American Motors' fault, we go to the supplier. We have two people who are on the road all the time doing this. In an effort to acquaint employees with other departments and areas of this mammoth plant, we started feature programs on particular departments. The first was in the drop forge. What do you think the importance might be for our employees to see the different departments in general, but the drop forge specifically?
Oh, Jim, good morning. I believe the forge shop is very intriguing. It's very technical. It looks like it's a simple operation as far as forming parts, front-end suspension parts. They're critical, all safety critical parts. It's quite a job. I believe that people will be very interested in looking at our forge shop.
Well, basically, we aren't working in the molten stage. We're working in the plastic stage, Jim. The metal that we're forming is somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,200 degrees in temperature. And needless to say, we take it in the plastic condition and form it into the desired shapes. Whereas in the foundry, obviously, they take the molten metal that's in the 2,700 degree range, and then, of course, pour it into their They're molds. We're forming our material in dies in a plastic condition.
Of course, with the hammers and or whatever you might call them coming down, you get a lot of that flying red around the place.
Of course, I guess what we're seeing out here from time to time is the metal has a brilliance. Obviously, when it's in that temperature range, it's bright, and of course, you see the scale that's formed by the the hammering and so on. It tends to brighten up the atmosphere.
Our next area we hope to feature will be the body division departments and then the engine division. Later, we hope to get to the press room, the lakefront plant, assembly, and so forth. Another area where our television production facilities and capabilities have been utilized on a corporate level is the taping of corporate presentations, such as the press previews locally, and just recently, a presentation by a Detroit vendor was taped in our TV studio for Detroit engineering. This would have cost a great deal if an outside television production facility was hired to do so.
We have still another concept. This is the physically affixed pre-positionable sealant. What this is, it's a hot melt material similar to this rubber-based material which I just showed you, that has been extruded around a wire core. On the wire core are metal dog ears. Now this particular part can be pre-shaped to some configuration dictated by your engineering people, spot welded into place in a sub-assembly operation, and not activated until it hits a paint bake cycle. At that point in time, the material will melt off the wire core, fall down, and provide the joint seal.
The only difficulty in this is the fact that our Detroit office uses the video cassette format, which is the most popular format in the United States. But we do not have a cassette machine. In order to make copies for Detroit, we went to Parkside, where they were kind enough to reproduce a copy on a cassette for us. The addition of a cassette recorder for our use is sorely needed. Well, certainly we need more of everything, equipment and manpower, because we want to produce more of everything for you. But most of all, broadcast communications and television in particular needs the enthusiastic support of you,